USC does right by basketball coach Andy Enfield and extends his contract, taking him off the market. But will that be enough to help the Trojans in the Pac-12 tournament that's going on this week? Nah, come on. I'm James. This is your daily dose of sports and snark for Southern California. This is Faithful Angelinos. Now, we've been doing this for about, say, 2.5 weeks. If you've been liking the content, by all means, clickety-clack the like button. Clickety-clack the subscribe button. Also, there is a notifications bell to hit. We try to drop a new video on the West Coast between 9 a.m. and 10 a.m. every single day. Feel free to share it. Sharing is caring. We want to spread the gospel of Los Angeles sports. And feel free to comment. I'm not God. I don't know everything. People have been asking me why I am broadcasting from Ice Station Alpha in Des Moines, Iowa, and that's because, well, I travel for work. I travel a lot for work, and if I don't do this, I might just get extremely lonesome. Might. Because you never know if you're going to cheat on your spouse, right? But I'll be damned if I cheat on my wife with one of these Iowa women. I'd have to be extremely lonely for that. Holy crap. I mean, okay, let me give you an example. I'm being driven home from work last night, and the Uber drivers kind of figured out I'm an out-of-towner, right? Because I'm not wearing overalls. And so he goes, hey, if you want, I'll just drop you off at the strip club. It's like, why would I want to go? He's like, hey, it's called the lumber yard, where you can get wood. You get it? Apparently, I missed out on a really good night. It was see how far the corn cob can go. Didn't pull the trigger on that. Let's talk about sports tonight and last night in Los Angeles. Houston, the worst team in the Western Conference, defeats the Lakers in overtime, 139-130. Meanwhile, the Clippers beat the Wizards 115-109 tonight in the Pac-12 tournament. UCLA will face Washington State at 6 o'clock. Washington will play USC 8:30. Also, the San Jose Sharks will be playing the Kings tonight at 7:30. All those games on television. Check your local listings. So what can I tell you? A couple of quick news and notes from around Los Angeles. Mixed messaging, not just from the Lakers, but from the Clippers. The Clippers front office is kind of skeptical about whether or not Kawhi Leonard is going to return this year. And then, of course, what happens, a video gets released of him shooting buckets before the game. Kawhi Leonard jerking us around, right? I mean, in a related story, dog bites man, world spins on axis, and Nancy Pelosi's eyebrows look like the Rams football helmet, they're so high. We knew this is how Kawhi behaved. The 49ers fan who got assaulted and beaten down, unfortunately, during the NFC Championship game has come out of his medically induced coma. Good for him, sincerely. Rumor on the street, when he came out, the first thing he said was, so we upset the Chiefs in the Super Bowl, right? I'm glad he's getting better, sincerely. Wow. Another week of MLB regular season games get canceled by Manfred the Barbarian. The Dodgers lose 5 road games. They've lost 12 overall, not losing in terms of L's, losing as in they won't play them. There was a road trip that would have taken them to Colorado and Minnesota, and having spent months in the snow, I'm here to tell you they are pretty happy about not having that roadie. So, let's talk Pac-12 basketball. I think that it's kind of obvious that there's 2 reasons that the Pac-12 this year is not getting a lot of love. Okay, the primary one has nothing to do with USC or UCLA. I think the major one is that Oregon State just face planted the entire year. I mean, that last season with the NCAAs and every sport in general, COVID just made everything super weird, especially college basketball. Duke stank up the joint. A lot of traditional powers were lousy last year. And Oregon State made it to the Elite Eight. Now that things are back to normal, Oregon State went 3-28. No wonder the national press doesn't have a lot of respect for the Pac-12. So at the end of the day, the general consensus, I believe, is right, that there's probably going to be 3 teams advancing out of the Pac-12: Arizona, UCLA, and USC. UCLA, USC, do they have a shot at Arizona? Maybe. I wouldn't go to Vegas where the tournament is and wager on it. I damn sure wouldn't do that. I mean, for UCLA to advance out of the Pac-12 tournament as the champ, Johnny Juzang's going to have to get on another one of those ridiculous hot streaks like he did during the playoffs last year. I mean, UCLA did beat Arizona earlier this year. I totally get it. But right now, Arizona is really feeling its oats again. Meantime, USC hasn't defeated Arizona at all. So, no, I just don't see the Trojans. Trojans basketball fascinates me, and we'll get to why in a moment, but I just don't see them winning the Pac-12 tournament. They've lost to UCLA. If both USC and UCLA win tonight, they play each other in the semifinals tomorrow, which would be great. But UCLA has beaten the Trojans, and so has Arizona. This is what we would call a gauntlet. So they're still going to probably get into the NCAA tournament. It'd be a major upset if they didn't, but I just don't see them winning the Pac-12. So let's talk about the Trojans a little more. Like I said, they fascinate me. Their coach, Andy Enfield, he's been there now for about 9 years. He came from Florida Gulf Coast University, where it was an upstart school that had a little project called Dunk City, and they went far in the NCAA tournament. Enfield became the hot name in coaching. He came to USC. And everybody at that point was assuming that USC was going to be Dunk City West, that it was not just going to be winning basketball, but aesthetically pleasing basketball. The Trojans do not play aesthetically pleasing basketball, and I credit Enfield for that. You see, Enfield has gone 182, 116 in his 9 years with the Trojans, and they've qualified for the NCAA 3 times. This should be number 4. This is uncharted waters for USC basketball. They'd go decades at a time during my lifetime without going to the NCAA tournament. And that is why he is now a hot commodity with other jobs. SC saw the way the waters were churning in the coaching ranks. They knew his name was being mentioned for Maryland in the ACC. They knew he was being mentioned as a possibility for Louisville. So yes, they ponied up. They ponied up because USC has been traditionally a football school. And now they have a chance to be powerful in multiple ones. I mean, football is king in Southern California. We get that. But if you could be dominant in 2 of the most popular sports in the country, collegiately, you do that. You break the bank. What makes Enfield so valuable, in my opinion, is he can do something a lot of coaches don't do. It's the ability to adapt. He came over here, the hashtag was there for a couple of days, Dunk City USC. Like they were just gonna play some wild, holy smokes, eye-popping basketball. But they don't. They shoot open shots from the outside. They D up. They went instead of, they still try to push the ball, but they realized that they were recruiting all these tall guys. So they started to switch so Enfield started to switch the way they play. USC plays tremendous interior defense. They out-rebound you. They do force turnovers, usually. They're usually in control of the basketball on offense, and they sink their open shots. They just don't dunk as much as everybody thought they would. So, credit to Enfield, because a lot of coaches do not break that mold. They have a game plan and they're going to stick to it for hell and high water, and that's why you always see these names being recycled across the country. USC, thanks to Andy Enfield, can do what the football team used to always do. The football team would just drop a USC football helmet on the coffee table and get the recruit. Now, USC basketball can go up and make a legitimate claim to recruits, to five-star, to the blue chip recruit. And that is this: we can get you to the NCAA tournament regularly, and oh, by the way, we can get you to the NBA. And that's not an exaggeration. Evan Mobley, DeAnthony Melton, Chimizky Metu, Kevin Porter, Onyeka Onagwu. No disrespect to the names I mispronounced. Enfield got all of them into the NBA. And there's a good chance that Isaiah Mobley and maybe another guy or two from USC will go this year. Enfield has built a legitimate, dominant program at USC. They may not be in the running for the national title this year, maybe not even next year. But they're legit. They're a threat. And Enfield got his just reward with that contract extension. Now, feel free to comment, feel free to like or tell me what's up. If you enjoyed today's content, by all means subscribe. We want to have regular people watching in and letting me know what's going on, and click that notification bell. I'm James. Thank you for watching. Faithful Angelinos is a production of Quien Corta El Queso Productions. Have a great day. Bye-bye.